So there is a big spotlight on Cody Rhodes as he's made his WWE return. He had his first match back on Monday Night Raw in the last 6 years against The Miz. He was super over with the crowd on Raw in Detroit. And Cody even mentioned that he is looking at the Undisputed WWE Championship. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. We're going to talk about if Cody Rhodes can be, should be, the next one to take down Roman Reigns and be the next champion. Let's get into that episode. Let's have some fun. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to Assemble. I'm Matt. Good to have you here. It's morning. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Got my coffee. I did not brew my own today. I got Starbucks. Got the Americano. It's black. Gets me going. So let's talk about Cody Rhodes. The man is getting over in a very, very short amount of time. It feels big. It also feels gigantic because the amount of pyro that Cody is using any given night. Good golly. You see what that guy had on Monday Night Raw? It was insane. Will Cody challenge Roman Reigns? Will he be the next champion? It's a conversation we should have. When Cody did his promo with The Miz, he came out, he sat down, he ate it up. He milked that thing as long as he could. And man, Cody was over with that crowd. He did mess up by calling it a belt instead of a championship. Miz made fun of him, which was kind of funny. And we can see that we're going to get a rematch between Seth and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania Backlash, which I'm all for. And I think Seth needs to sneak out a win in that match, and Cody still needs to look strong. Looking at Roman Reigns for a second, Roman's win at WrestleMania, it was closing this giant chapter of Roman's career. The Tribal Chief, finally taking down Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, getting over to a larger degree, becoming the undisputed champion. They have put Roman Reigns at the very pinnacle top of the mountain. And the big question we always have for WWE is what's next? What are they going to do next with their top champion? And this is an interesting scenario for me because this is not a standard win at WrestleMania. We got a new champion, and then, in a month, 2 months, we can get somebody else to step up. They have solidified Roman as this dominant, long reigning champion, and I don't think they're done yet. But I don't know if they know what story they want to tell with Roman Reigns going forward. What we saw on SmackDown was Tribal Chief coming out after a full week of not setting up a storyline, just walking out and posing that he wants all the gold. He wants the Usos to go after RK Bro, unify the tag titles, bring those over to the bloodline, and have everything unified all under the tribe. And that's a cool story piece, but it doesn't have a lot to do with Roman from, his next opponent standpoint. It's just about collecting gold, which is cool. But I think with that tag team storyline, that element of it, that needs to build. The Usos, in my opinion, should not just quickly, easily win those titles from RK Bro, because then there's no obstacle, there's nothing to overcome, right? So how does Cody fit in all of this? Cody is the only one that has come out after WrestleMania in a big way. He's made a big splash, and he's the only one that has mentioned the title so far. And he's the only one that feels like they would be in contention for it. Now, I don't think that we're going to see Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns clean in the next month, 2 months. Again, we have WrestleMania Backlash. They're going to get rid of all of their existing storylines from WrestleMania and set up a couple of new ones. Now, I don't think they want to hotshot Cody's win or next title win, whatever it may be and whenever it may be. I think Cody himself wants to tell a good story. I think the storytelling element aspect of it is very important to him personally. That's just my 2 cents. Based off of the matches that Cody's had in AEW. He likes to tell stories, and he tells good stories. And Roman Reigns is the most protected story out of all of it. In the interim leading up to a potential final clash of these two, I think what they can do is they will feed Roman Reigns more opponents. Upper mid-card opponents from both SmackDown and Raw, and we're seeing that already with Nakamura standing up on SmackDown. The other key piece and the wrinkle to all of this is we don't know the status of Roman Reigns in terms of injury. He had a nasty looking arm coming out of WrestleMania. He hasn't been in a match yet since WrestleMania. And I don't think they're going to change and pivot their strategy with Roman at all, whereby I don't think that they're going to start putting him in TV matches. We might see him in the odd 6-man tag with the Usos, or in the occasional match where it's going to end up in a disqualification. They have built Roman to be the very top act. And so you're not going to give that away on TV. Problem is that this just diminishes and destroys the whole mid-card that they lack and the development there, but that's a whole other thing. I think you need to get these two to build themselves up to a main event match, potentially even at SummerSlam. If Roman is injured, or they're trying to give him a little bit of time off to recover, if that injury is fairly decent and he needs to recover from it. And at the same time, you're trying to build Cody up. Yes, he's getting over, but we need to see him fighting a lot like we did on Raw against The Miz, like we will again against Seth Rollins. And I think you need to keep Cody front and center and keep building him up week over week as a main event star. He's coming out and he's feeling like a main event. Aside from like Seth, he's the only one right now that feels top main event level, ready to go, that could challenge Roman realistically. Not that he could win right now, but that he could even challenge. This match itself, I think it's going to happen at some point. My prediction would be it would be at SummerSlam, and I think that's when it would make kind of the most sense. You could build Cody for months and months, having feuds against the likes of Seth Rollins, The Miz, Kevin Owens, taking down those top tier Raw stars. And on the other side, Roman can have feuds with, put him back in with Seth Rollins, Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, maybe save Drew for September when they go over to the UK for the stadium show. There is a lot that they can do. But when? I guess a big question to all of you. When do you take the title off of Roman? He has to lose at some point, and it has to be really, really meaningful. And the way WWE books it and the way they run everything, I don't think it'll ever live up to the grand heights and hype that they have set themselves up, or most commonly, putting themselves into a corner and forcing them to do things or make decisions because they have to. Is it going to be a new star that they got to build for the next year, like an Austin Theory or just Theory now? Could he be the one to take down Roman Reigns a year from now? We also have the question marks of The Rock, and we know the rumblings are there, and we know that WWE wants this match, and there is potential for this to happen at WrestleMania. So if The Rock and Roman could happen at WrestleMania, should or could the titles even be involved in that match? In my opinion, they should not. That is a dynasty match. That is a passing of the torch. That is the big money match of all money matches. And I don't think you want to have the title belt kind of mucking up the waters. Now, I wouldn't put it past me if WWE did that, if they put the title belt on the line, because they did this previously with The Rock. We dropped the title off of CM Punk and we put it on The Rock, and then we had Rock versus Cena. Or the other question to all of you, even though we have unified titles, the WWE and Universal Championship, we don't know for sure if they're going to stick with this, and if this truly means one title, one belt. Could it be the Becky Lynch scenario, where Roman can say, sure, Cody, SummerSlam, you can challenge me for the title, but you can challenge me for the WWE Championship, the one that has the lineage and the legacy of your father, the one that you want. Maybe they do it that way, and that keeps Roman strong. Cody becomes champion. Roman is still the very top on SmackDown, but it does lessen the WWE Championship because Roman is always going to be the very top one. Or are they going to purely unify that into one brand new title? And again, could Cody be the one to take it off Roman Reigns? And could it happen as early as SummerSlam? Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoy episodes like this, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I enjoy having these conversations with all of you. Hit me up, hit that like button, the subscribe, the bell. You smash a bunch of buttons. It's a good time here, and I will see you on the next episode. It's time for more coffee. I gotta refill this. Like, this is getting cold now, and I'm not content with this. So I'm gonna go, and I'm going to now go make another coffee. I could just go back to the Starbucks, but that seems aggressive. And I'd be weird walking back in there asking for a second coffee. I gotta figure something out. See ya.